Hey everybody, it's Bob Grove. I just want to appeal to you. We have lots of neighbors and not all of them have homes. And so if you're blessed to have a home, um, I'm sure you're grateful. A lot of our neighbors don't have homes though, and they live on the streets. And I know that it gets very discouraging when we see all the homeless people and we hear about all the troubles that all the homeless people, we can't do anything, there's nothing we can do, the government's not doing anything, whatever. But we can't really rely on the government for this. Sometimes we just need to step up and do something. And I know that you think, well, what can I do? It's such a huge problem. I can't solve that problem. And I feel that way too, but I decided to go and just sit with the homeless for about an hour and a half a couple nights ago. And I talked to them and said, where do you stay? And one guy stays at the homeless shelter, another guy stays at, he basically lives in the tent city. And the one that stays in the homeless shelter is 25, and the one that stays in the tent city is 23, and he's been homeless for 5 years. And I know we can't solve all their personal problems and like why they're homeless, because I know that this 23-year-old's parents take him to church, which means they're local, and I don't know all the ins and outs and everything, but but we can do something. And so it doesn't even cost a lot of money to help them. And so when I said, what do you guys need in the tent city? And the first thing he said was shelter. So they need basically the same thing that when you were if you're in the military, you learn the priorities of survival. Shelters first, then water, and then food and medical and so on. In general, in Frederick at least, the food is taken care of because they can eat at the soup kitchen or the Frederick Rescue Mission, and other places have some bread, I think the Salvation Army. But when it comes to shelter, they're kind of out of luck in a way. They can go to the shelter, but the shelter, people snore right next to you, and it's just not a good thing. And yes, we can all say, well, maybe they deserve it or whatever because they're on drugs or whatever. But whether they brought this on themselves or whether they're a victim, it's a mix. Drugs are a prison. If you know anything about drugs, you might try it once or twice and then you're stuck. You're really like in jail. So having some compassion, there is something we can do about it. And one is, just bring them a bottle of water. When I was talking to the homeless people, talking to each other, they're all asking for water. I mean, think about that, water. That's an essential to survival, and yet they have a hard time getting water. They're not asking for, a fancy fruit drink or anything, they're asking for water. So you can just walk around with a bottle of water and give them a bottle of water. It's funny, I was talking to one young man, the 23-year-old, and this very sweet, cute couple walked past with some extra pizza and fries and asked me, thinking I was homeless, I guess, if I wanted some pizza and fries. I pointed to the young man next to me, and he was very grateful for it. I gave him a granola bar earlier, and he was grateful for granola bars. And if you want to spend a little more money, this is a water filter. You can get a water filter, and that makes the water even better. So I said, but it says shelter was first, and so this little Mylar blanket is $1. You can get this for $1. If you buy them in bulk, you might even get a little under $1. This right here is a sleeping bag. It's a little bit bigger than the blanket. It's a Mylar sleeping bag, and I've tested them thoroughly. And you put that thing up over you, even in the wintertime, you stay warm and dry. It's amazing. The Mylar blanket looks and sounds like this. So hold your ears. They're very loud. And they're very big. These are quieter, and they cover you, and they're just a lot better. So the Mylar blankets are $1. These things are like maybe $4 or $5. If you really want to save a life, you can make one of these. I've shown you these before, but maybe some of you haven't seen my other videos. I made this out of a thing called Reflectix. it's a sleeping bag, and I rolled up and I put 550 military paracord on there because it's not just cordage. Each strand, each cord has like 7 strands inside it, so they have a lot of cordage if they need more cordage. So, so basically, again, shelter. So tents, tarps, mylar blankets, emergency blankets, anything like that. Regular blankets, especially wool. Wool retains 80% of its insulative properties, even when it's wet. Cotton kills, so I would stay away from cotton, but something not made of cotton, like maybe polyester would be better. Anyway, sleeping bags, that kind of thing. And then of course water. And I said, well, how do you get around? And he gets around on a bike, and I see a lot of homeless people on bikes, so they would be grateful for bike tire patch kits. Because again, the young man I was talking to was on his bike, and he looked down and his back tire was just flat, so now he has to walk everywhere. They have problems that hopefully you never had. But again, how much is a bike tire patch kit? It might be like $6, and you get several patches, and the guys and girls and ladies, women at the tent city can share the patch kit so they can get around on their bikes. Basically, I'm asking to help keep them alive long enough for them to get back on their feet. They may never get back on their feet, but they may as well. And again, there are lots of other people trying to help in a longer term, with housing and things. But for now, you and I can do something for just a few dollars. And of course, if you just even can't do that, just please pray that that they're safe. Pray that they don't feel nice. Pray that they don't feel rejected by society, because they are. It's really weird. When I was sitting there for an hour and a half, and people don't look at you when you're homeless, or when they think you're homeless. It's very, very strange. When I'm walking around normally, people smile and look at you and so on, but not when you're sitting there with a bunch of homeless people and they think you're homeless too. Like somehow the homeless people are different than regular people. I put on Facebook just a few days ago, homeless people are people. So let's try to remember that, and I know you probably do, but anyway, God bless you. Please pray. If you want to contact me to help out, or if you just want to do it yourself, you don't have to go through me. God bless you, and let's see if we can help our homeless neighbors. My chickens are freaking out. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye-bye.